Hello, everybody. Good evening to all of you. Hello, hello. Cameras on if you can. I much prefer speaking to faces than black boxes with white names. Hello, Renee and Russell. Hello, Leah, Jess, Christabel. All right, let's get started. Hang on, let me just fix my screen. And let me pull up my... One sec. Is Adele in there? All righty. So, Christabel, seems you're one of the people that put up a question tonight. So let's start with you, huh? I'm just letting some people in and changing the view. All right, Christabel. All right, are you able to have your camera on at all, Christabel? If not, let me know. Are you behind your screen? No? Oh, I saw you in the chat. Can you unmute your line so we can chat? Got it. Hello. How are you? Hello.
Hi, Holly.
Hello. Okay, let's help this situation here with this violence happening in the house.
Thank you.
So yeah, and I do remember you sharing, a lot of your story in Brisbane, I think it was.
It was, yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Brisbane. Beautiful. So I know you've, got a lot to deal with, and correct me if I'm wrong, does everyone have ASD?
No, eldest does.
Okay, eldest?
And three eldest have ADHD.
ADHD, okay.
Two youngest not diagnosed. Youngest didn't speak till she was 3, but her receptive language has always been amazing.
Okay.
And they all have kind of neurodivergent ways.
Yep.
I'm probably ADD brained,
Yep.
and my husband's probably high functioning ASD brained.
Okay. So you got a whole lot of gifted different brains that do work differently, just, absolutely. And when
We
different,
have some quirks.
yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. You guys, you called it in and you're all supposed to be here in this exact arrangement in this life. So tell me, is there like any particular child that is that kind of is the instigator of this? Like so often there's dynamics like that. I just want to get a little bit of
Yeah.
background so I can give you a better example, a better answer.
Holly, my eldest, is really, really hyper aroused when he's not kept busy in a happy place. So
Okay.
he is 13 now and nearly 6 foot.
Okay.
And he's incredibly intelligent. But his empathy when he's not in his own happy space. Huxley, please go get dressed, sweetheart. Thank you. This is my quiet space. When he's not in his happy space is limited in family with his cohort at school. And
Yep.
because of his age, he's socially developing in beautiful stages. I'm so proud of his self-authoring capacity when we give him that agency and when he takes it and runs with it in a pro-social way, which he does in community really well. But at home, he
Mm-hmm.
gets bored and he becomes hyper aroused and deregulates more so.
Okay.
Um, the more freedom I give him outside of me trying to hold agency over him, the more he has evolved self-respect, but he's still quite pokey, proddy, judgy, and
Yep.
we just want to fast track our group into a really safe space.
Okay. So what I want you to bring in is this. So I know you've already done a lot of work and you've tried a lot of things, yeah? And
Yes.
so and I really applaud you and celebrate you for that, for never giving up
Thank
finding
you.
an answer. If Nicole hadn't have done the same thing, she wouldn't be where she is today either, because she'd done years and years of searching for answers like yourself. Okay. So I want to take, like, I just know there's probably not anything you haven't tried from a tools or a behavior perspective. I want to have a look at your whole situation from a bit more of a soul perspective and a real connection perspective. This process, I
Mm.
feel like it is Never failed. Literally, in my experience, unless you come along and you're the first exception to this rule, it always works, but it does take some time. But it is permanent once it starts working. It literally shifts all the dynamics. All of the, the testimonies I share when I was on stage on tour and talked about, showing the testimonies of that mother who's like, he lies, he cheats, he steals, he does all this. And then 5 weeks later, I've cancelled the pediatrician, whatever. It took 5 weeks. It wasn't like what do I need to go and say tomorrow to change it all? Okay. Would you be okay with that kind of approach? Because I feel like this is what we need.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's majestic, and just, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, and the reason it takes time is because the kids need to learn to trust you. When you start showing up in this really conscious way, they like, especially the younger they are, they're like, oh, this is cool. But so it often goes really good for like a week or two. And then it's like, whoa, hang on, like, is this actually a change? Like, is this actually going to stay like this? Like, I don't want to let my guard down and before I know this is a permanent thing, because if I let my guard down and then you go back to how you used to be or whatever, then I'm subject to being hurt. So it's very normal. I'm giving you the heads up that you may make some progress for a week or a couple of weeks, and then it might feel like it goes backwards for a few weeks. It's almost like there's a real test of trust. It's almost like they're like, I need to push you to a limit just to prove to myself that this really is the new way that we're doing a family.
Holly, I believe that kids are, teachers through your own triggers. They're a reflection of my soul, not from me, but, not of
beautiful.
me. And I'm happy to stick it. These are my circus, my monkeys, and I'm 100% theirs.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. So I do talk about this in the 3rd pillar of the program. So if during the weeks you want to go and watch some videos and you want to watch the same video 50 times, it'll also help your ADHD brain as well to really get it imprinted. Watch something 6 or 7 times and whatever. I want you guys to start family meetings. Okay. Just tell me first of all as well, where are you up to in the program? Like, what videos are you up to?
I took a little break after we met. I felt really overwhelmed. The emotional, hearing stories, watching some of the people, sharing my own.
You're not in trouble by me if you haven't started. I really don't mind. It's your journey.
I'm highly emotional. No, I've started on the love languages, and I'm seeing changes and big reflections, and seeing capacities, but there's a lot to put in action. I haven't gone into self-esteem, so I'm still on pillar 1.
Okay, cool. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to go and watch. No matter where you're at, just come back to it in a minute. The priority is that you go and watch the 3 types of praise.
Lovely.
Yep. So it's in the section with self-esteem. So I really want you to know how to use that praise language, that descriptive language in your house. Then I want you to watch in the 2nd pillar. There's a video called, I think it's called The 4 Steps to Stop the Whining. But you use the 4 steps with anything, not just whinging and whining. But with all the neurodivergent brains in your house, they need a structure like this. So it's called 4 Steps to Stopping the Whinging or something like that, I think it's called, in the 2nd pillar of discipline.
Thank you.
And then I would love for you to just go into the 3rd pillar and watch the whole pillar in order, and then go back to where you were up to in love language. So it's like you've got a few things to look out for in love languages now. And if you haven't finished that, make sure you finish the 5 love languages, just so you've got like a bit of an idea of what to look out for and how to start putting it all together.
You're right about ADHD brain.
While you go
consolidate.
While you go through all these other videos. So get your idea of love languages, then go and watch the three types of praise, then go do that video in conscious discipline, and then do the whole of the 3rd pillar. Then go back to where you were at right now, and then continue in order. Okay.
I
just want you to have
4
a few
steps
things
here. Types of praise, 2nd pillar, discipline, watch the whining, 3rd pillar, all of it, and then love languages.
Then come back to where you're at.
Perfect.
And all the while you're doing all this, you can still be looking out for love languages and what they respond to, and you're picking up all these clues. Okay. So
Lovely.
I really want to get you to where you learn how to do family meetings. Okay, this is huge. It's in the third pillar, but to give you a little nutshell now, and then you can go and rewatch it again. I want you to have regular family meetings. The whole of my kids' lives, even when we separated, we kept doing it like in our own homes and even with our new partners eventually and all that. Ours were Sundays, like we always did, like 4 p.m. ish on a Sunday. Whatever you need to do to make that feel like something they want to come to. So for us, my kids love a platter. They love, bits of whatever, crackers and cheese and this and that, all the, fancy stuff and whatever, fruit and whatever.
Yes.
They loved
Lovely.
it. So that was our Sunday afternoon type thing, so that we all could sit there and go through these family meetings. And they love it. And still to this day, we don't do them every week now. But at any given moment, if anything is not really working in our family, or if something has to be addressed, or if there's something to really celebrate, I'll call a family meeting. There's not an ounce of hesitation. They'll all come to the table. Hey guys, we're having a family meeting tonight. I want to discuss this or whatever. Sometimes I give them a heads up, and we all sit. No one has any aversion to showing up and participating. So I want you to bring this culture into your family. Okay, you're building a culture. Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's a structure to family meetings. There's literally a video on how to do a family meeting. I think it's actually called, this section is called, I'm literally trying to remember the titles of these videos that I made 6 years ago. So correct me if I get that bit wrong, but it's called Building Family Solidarity. I'm pretty sure the video is called that. It's in the third pillar. I want you to watch the whole third pillar. But that is family meetings, Leah, instantly, like with a 2-year-old, like straight away, and obviously with a 2-year-old, it's, you don't necessarily call it a meeting, but it's just like being together and, really just bringing in these topics. I mean, probably 4, to be honest. I'm probably exaggerating by saying 2, but ASAP, like 4 years.
Holly, quick question. With regard to family meetings, a phrase I developed with the kids and I is time to talk together, taking turns. So TTTTT. And they like the alliteration, suits them. Any other rules or suggestions on how to get turn taking in the structure?
There are lots of things, and you'll have this in the video. But essentially, what you do is, so you've got to just open the right conversation. So, do you guys normally sit and do dinner together around a table or something?
We do, but it can be modified with someone jeering, someone whinging. We try not to send people away, but if it becomes
so what I want you to do is at whatever time of day, let's say this is Tuesday, so let's work on Thursday, so that you've got an opportunity with each child somewhere in the next 48 hours to say, at some point in some way, say to all of them, hey, I have something really important I want to share with you all. Something really important to me. We're gonna talk about it on Thursday night at dinner, not tomorrow, Thursday. Let their minds build a curiosity, like, what's this about? Like, what is it, Mum? Tell me. No, I'm not going to share it now. We're going to talk about it then. But you know what? I'm really excited for this, and it's really important to my heart. All I need from you, all I'm asking from you, is that you please understand how important this is to me. So, I'll remind you again on Thursday, so that everybody, it would mean a lot to me if you come in the best attitude you can come with, because it's something really important to my heart. So you just kind of plant seeds in their minds over the next day or two, and you prepare it for Thursday. Okay. And then at Thursday night's dinner, you say, guys, tell them, have you told them about me? Have you told them you're in this program at all?
I have, yeah. I've had that talk with 3 of the kids. And for some of them, I've had the sincere apology. And for some of them, I've had different styles of breakthroughs. I'm always working on evolving my conscious and adult approach to working with them.
Okay, beautiful. So when you get to the meeting, you will say, hey guys, as you know, I'm really committed to working with Holly, and Holly has suggested something that resonated so much with my heart, and I wanted to bring it into our family, and I wanted to ask you all to participate in this. And what's going to happen moving forwards is that every Sunday, or whatever day you choose, I don't know, whatever works for your family, Sunday morning, this or that, whatever, once a week, we're going to have a family meeting. And the family meetings is so that everybody in our home has a chance to feel heard, has a chance to have their needs met, has a chance to give feedback, We can all learn how to take feedback without being offended. We can all learn how to celebrate each other and our improvements. These are things I want to bring into our family. And then you've got to work out your own structure based on your kids' ages. And again, this is in the video, so you don't have to remember all this right now. Okay.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
what we did, and obviously when they're 4, you know, for those of you listening, if you've got tiny children, you do this very differently. You keep it to a 5 or 10-minute meeting, and you just do, you know, some very basic things. But what we did is we would first of all, our girls have very strong senses of leadership. They love to lead. So we let somebody each week, you know, that it would be somebody would be the leader. So this person would, we made like a criteria together and like a run sheet type thing. And one person was like the boss of the run sheet type thing. And the other person took notes on the family meeting. And the other person, because we had 3 girls, was in charge of the family game. So at the end of the family meeting, so we ate a platter while we were having the family meeting. So there was this beautiful positive association. And then at the end of the family meeting, there was always a family game. And the person who was in charge of the game got to choose. Sometimes it was hide and seek. Sometimes we played Trouble. Sometimes we played Uno. Sometimes we went out on the trampoline and played the fall over game or something. Whatever they wanted to do, there was like 15 to 20 minutes of playing a game together. So it associated everybody that, you know, everyone gets something out of this. And everyone had a role. So if you have 4 kids or whatever, or for those of you listening, I highly suggest to find a way to come up with a role per person, particularly if you have neurodivergent children that aren't going to like the fact that they don't have a role like what today, and that gives them a reason to argue with something. If you don't have children like that, that, you know, are naturally kind of combative and that kind of a thing, then it's perfectly fine to be like, well, no, you don't have a role today. Each week, there's somebody that has no role. You just get to show up to the meeting and go home. There's no responsibility for you. So whatever. So you want to make, so ours were, we go around the circle and we all have to say something that we've noticed that's a positive thing about our family. So the first thing we start is something that's been great about our family this week. Just what have you noticed? And then we'll just go around the circle, and it might be, you know, I would say things like, you know, can even be, you know, I've really noticed that everyone has actually made a big effort to pick their towels up off the floor. I've actually checked the bathroom a couple of times this week, and there's only been one time where there was a towel left on the floor. So I've really noticed that everyone's starting to really pay attention to the little things they can do to contribute to the house. So sometimes it might be related to like a task or a chore or something like that, especially if the previous week that was a feedback piece for the family. Because in this meeting, you'll do things we're getting right, things that are positive, then we'll do.
Please, love. This is for me and my learning. Thanks, babes. Yeah. Not now. Sorry, maybe you didn't hear, but I am doing the parents' work tonight. Dad's over there. Go see Dad. Thank you. That's amazing. Hopefully see you soon. Good night, Jill. Thank you. No, not now.
Okay. So you start with, what are we getting right? And then what can we improve on? So it's not bad. It's not, you know, feedback or whatever. We called it, what can we improve on? And we would mix it up, and eventually we'd let the person who's running the meeting choose their own flair with this. So for example, sometimes the girls might say, you have to say something positive to the person to your left, or it might be, you know, you have to, like, it might be specific to only the person to your left. Other times it might be, you have to say one thing about each person in our family that you've noticed about them getting it right this week. So we'd let them just add their own little flair to it if they wanted to. You may not be able to do that, at least to begin with. You might need to have a pretty solid structure for all of them to follow. And then once that becomes a habit and everyone's got a good association with this is, so the reason I want you to do this, in this space, we celebrate each other. We notice each other. So everyone in a family needs to feel seen. And if they're resorting to violence, what they're looking for is significance. Yeah. So violence makes you really fucking important. In the moment where you're grabbing a knife or whatever, it's not just a power thing. It makes you important. It makes you significant. And so when I hear violence, especially at those levels, you know, yes, it's a power thing. I don't even really see it as a behavioral thing. I like to look at it, what need isn't being met.
Sorry, you're interrupting something really important. I'm not inviting you into this space. I'm asking for space. I'm not going to serve you food now. Would you mind giving me the space to do what I need to do? There's nothing left for you, Dylan. Thank you. There's nothing here that's a snack right now.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Thank you.
So it's the what we're getting right, and where I want this to lead is that this starts to feel like a safe place to be able to provide feedback and for everybody to make suggestions on how we can do better as a family, on how we can all feel safe as a family, on, nothing's wrong that when somebody, feels angry or feels like something's unfair, what would be a better way? Like, what are some, and this is where you let them be individuals. So you'll eventually get to a place where this is a safe and trusting enough space where you can go around the table and go, so let's have a discussion. I've noticed that this week there's been a bit of anger in our home, and we're not here to pretend. There's lots of positive things about our family, but there are also things that we can all improve on, we can all work on. And this week I would like to address the way that we all, show our anger or whatever. So it's like, but we all have to remember that we're individuals. Okay. So if somebody is angry with you, by the way, nobody gets angry for no reason, right? There's always a reason somebody gets angry, even if it's a story that they've made up in their own head. Still, there's no such thing as an overreaction in life with any human, with any child, with any parent. There is no such thing. This is something we teach, first of all, at Happy to Hold. Like, there is no such thing as an overreaction. We're all only ever reacting to our own experience, right? And so where I want you to be able to get to, which is why we just need to start building safety. And just to begin with, these conversations aren't this heavy. These family meetings need to feel a bit fun.
Earbuds in. Oh, it's a bit much still, but go for it. Thanks, Dill.
These conversations to begin with just need to feel fun so that there's no negative association with them. Okay? So even if the first month, even if it's for the first 4 weeks, it needs to be, hey, like, what have we noticed about each other? That's, I've noticed you've done this and I've noticed you. And then the next person goes, well, I noticed this about you and I noticed this about you. And the other day you were angry at me, but you didn't yell at me like you normally did. You normally do. You did this. So everyone's just like, oh, I'm being noticed. And when you start feeling noticed, you start feeling seen, you start feeling significant, you start feeling like you matter. And I believe that in itself will start to taper down. It'll taper down violence, but in addition, it creates a space that allows us to go deeper into the discussions of violence, if necessary, without it triggering someone who gets their walls up and gets their back up and leaves the table and creates an argument. Okay? So
I
don't
hear you. I think
with this.
Yeah, I hear you, Holly. I think it helps everyone hold their own agency so that they have a voice and can be valued.
Yeah. So to begin with, so you're just going to present the idea. You might need to do this with a whole lot of neurodivergence, including yourself and your husband. Mm-hmm. You might need to do this in some stages. If an average person, let's say, this was going to take 6 weeks, it might take 10 weeks for you. Who cares? 10 weeks is going to go by anyway, right? So present the idea of a family meeting. If somebody refuses to show up to that family meeting on the night or something like that, just allow it for this time, and talk to them. Don't force them to the table. Don't build a negative association right from the beginning. But yeah, I want you'll get it all from the third pillar. The third pillar goes through lots of words to be using and to not be using. There's lots in there. I'm surprised and I'm not surprised is one that your household really needs. Anyway, you'll get it all in there. But family solidarity, the first thing with family solidarity, for all of you out there that have a lot of conflict in your homes, you can't just look for how can I build connection. The first thing you have to do is stop the bleeding. Yeah, before you clean the infection, before you tend to the wound, you have to stop the bleeding. And so the very first step in getting to a place of connection is to stop the conflict, is to remove what's causing the conflict. Because if you try to just band-aid conflict, if you try to just make space for connection without removing what creates the disconnection in the first place, it's always only a band-aid, it's always only temporary. So in those videos, there'll be a video that's I think it's like 11 reasons, the 11 things that cause your conflict. You need to be aware of all of them. Some of them you'll be like, oh my God, I had no idea that created conflict. But yep, cool, take that on board. And that just becomes part of your parenting awareness and you change a few things about yourself. So we're going to remove conflict. Then we're going to add connection, okay, and simultaneously a little bit. And then I don't care if it takes 3 months for your family meetings to be starting to get really solid. We're going to set up family meetings, and family meetings become a place of there's no blame, there's no shame. Everyone has a chance, everyone gets heard, everyone matters. And you'll even get to the point where you can say, like, if you're angry with me, I'm okay for you to shout at me, it doesn't offend me. But then the next person's like, when you're angry with me, please don't shout at me. Just, can you please tell me? Because as soon as you shout at me, I feel really scared. Then the next personality has their own. Well, if you yell at me, I'll just punch you in the face. Okay, well, let's not do that. You know what I mean? Like, they all get to, it's like, how can we meet each other's needs here, knowing that our needs are also going to be taken into consideration. So it might take a few months, but who cares? You've tried things for years and years and years anyway. So I just want you to have that long-term vision and expectation, and just to taper it down pretty instantly, this 3 types of praise you need to go look at. Just because the reason I put that in the first pillar, even though it's words to use and to not use, I didn't put it in the third pillar where all the words are, is because you need something straight away, and you need something where there's multiple opportunities a day for that kind of language. And so that's in the first pillar. Okay, in the self-esteem section in 3 types of praise. So do that. The discipline one that I talk, there's so many good discipline ones, but the one on, the 4 steps to stop the whinging or whatever, or to stop whatever, it's just going to be good for a neurodivergent family. So it's really about naming things and being consistent in the names that you use and all that. And there's something called red light, green light. Actually, I talk about it in that video, but just actually watch that one too. It's only a short video, but it'll reiterate. I can't remember what order they go in. Watch them in the order. If red light, green light comes first, then watch that first, and then the 4 steps. If 4 steps come, whatever one comes first, watch that, and then watch red light, green light.
Okay, just quickly reflect for me. What are the 4 steps, please? I got for whinging, whining. Got it. Sorry,
it's called. I think it's called that. Yeah, the 4 steps to stop the whinging or something. Yeah, it's not just for whinging; it's for anything. Yeah,
Holly, thank you so much for setting all this up for us all, and I think we'll chat again in a few weeks.
Beautiful. Thank you, Christabel. I look forward to hearing. Thank you. So Jeanette just wrote. Jen just wrote. Red light, green light comes first.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you,
awesome.
Jeanette.
Oh, there you go. Libby left you a really good, and she has some neurodivergence in her family as well, including the husband as well, being diagnosed. So you might be able to relate. Yeah, she's had some great results. All right. Whistle. That's so cool. Yes, that's a good idea. I literally live, I just got this image of seeing you blow a whistle. You're making me laugh. I'm not laughing at Libby. We're very good friends, for those of you who think I'm just pissing myself at Libby right now. But I know her kids very, very well, and I know her family very well. I can just imagine her blowing a whistle. It's actually quite funny. All right. Jen, darling, I'm coming to you. This is a beautiful, deep conversation. This is going to be. And I want to thank you for showing up for this conversation tonight, darling woman. I really do. I know it's scary. I know these things never feel good to face, but you have such a deep awareness and such a readiness to just, move in whatever direction it takes. And so for those of you listening to this, I've had a few discussions kind of outside of these calls with Jen. I've just known her for a little while, had a few chats on Facebook. We chatted a little bit when I was on tour. And also, just for some background, her young daughter, Taya, has just started working with my daughter, who does mentoring for young people. And so this is part of this conversation. So just to give you all some context about why I'm going to have this beautiful, deep conversation. And I just ask you all to hold a beautiful space. And yeah, I'm sure that what we're going to talk about is going to resonate with a lot of you out there. So you might need some tissues, everybody. Not that I'm expecting tears, but, beautiful, deep, heart-opening conversations always, get us emotional. How are you, first of all, darling?
I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm good. I had a really nice day today. It was my 31st birthday, so
today?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, gorgeous. It's Dave, my partner's birthday tomorrow, and it's my birthday next Friday. Whole bunch of
Oh,
Aries happening here.
oh, that's cool. Happy birthday to him for tomorrow. So I had a really nice day. I went and treated myself to like a full body clay wrap and
Oh,
just
beautiful.
some stuff I've never really done before.
Amazing.
And
Beautiful.
yeah, so yeah, but very nervous.
That's okay. That's okay. It's probably not even nervousness, it's probably uncertainty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's normal. And here you are anyway, showing up in all of that. So I know you've had a lot going on. I really do want to thank you. And so many of you that are coming into the group, doing the homework right from word go, where I've said, come and go into the group and introduce yourself and vulnerably share your stories. And it is beautiful to be able to feel your hearts. And yeah, it was really beautiful to get some insight to your life, Jen. And you have certainly had a tough life, to say the least. So yeah, this all makes a lot of sense to me, what's going on with Taya. And the way that you really want to be able to hold a space for her that she needs in these moments where she comes to you or whatever, but then like you say, you find it hard to not get triggered by the way that she says it or what happens. And yeah, so I know, let's just go to, I want to give you something really tangible to walk away with tonight. Okay. And I know you told me that, and after you told me in a message, I double checked with Amani just to make sure. Like I said, like Jen said that, Taya's got a letter or something like that, or there's going to be a letter or whatever that she's going to write to you. And you're in a position, correct me if I'm wrong, so Taya's going to write a letter to you as part of her homework with Amani so that she feels like she can have a voice and share herself with you. You want a daughter who absolutely can share herself fully with you, but you also know and you feel low in confidence that you know how to meet her need in that moment and that you can manage your own triggers well enough to be able to give her what she needs. And then it almost scares you that if you get it wrong, you damage her more. Is that a fair way to put this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Taya
Okay.
had her first call with Armani last week, and she spoke to Armani about something and then asked Armani to ask me to bring it up with her.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
I tried so many times.
Okay.
And in the end, all she said is, I just really don't like talking about this stuff with you, Mum.
Okay.
Um, so
So all the translation there is good on you for trying multiple times. Okay. Can you give me an idea of what you said? It may just be a little tiny tweak with words that might open the door for you next time. Give me an idea of like what you would say to open it up.
I was pretty simple. I just said, hey, hun, Armani, because Armani had told Taya that she was going to message me.
Yes. Yeah.
I said, Armani sent me a message, and she said that there was a couple of things that were on your mind that
Yeah.
you
Beautiful.
speak about. But then I think I spoke a bit too much because
Okay.
I gave her my opinion because what the situation was
Okay.
Taya saying that she was getting in trouble when I go outside, like because she has to look after her sister.
Okay.
But I don't ask her to look after her sister.
Okay.
So I was kind of trying to clarify, I guess, what
Okay.
he was concerned about enough to bring up to speak to Armani, but I just
Yep.
think
Yeah, that's okay. That
I
makes
was
sense.
kind of
So
like
what that normally means, how old's Taya?
9.
Okay, cool. So all that really means is this. Kids also find ways to say things to people, like the way even Taya puts it to Amani, is so often not the circumstantial way, but it's the way they experience it. And that will happen up until she's at least 12. Yeah. Until like there's a connection to her. So just so you know that, like, and this is where parents are always like, why did you say that? That's not true. Like you're lying. Like to us, it's like with our neocortex, it's like, that's just not true. I've never asked you to have her. I'm not saying you said it like this, but truth is, I've not ever asked you. But her experience is that when you go outside in the farm or whatever, that I feel responsible for my sister. I feel like I have to look after my sister. And that doesn't mean that you told me I have to, but I feel like my sister needs looking after or something like that. And, or it could have been this one day, one time out of 10 million times where you said, can you please look after her? I'll be back in a minute, whatever. And that's the only thing that she remembers, because that day she had to stop doing what she was doing to look after her. And now that's become what's lodged in her experience. Yeah. So the way to approach this now, first of all, I think it is, let me say this to you, babe. If you have a daughter that is willing to do this homework with Amani, I know Amani doesn't give this homework to just like every child she works with. Like she knows very deeply the child has to be ready for this, to be able to, it's a very big, scary thing to talk to a parent or to let a parent know how you feel about a situation that you don't feel like you can talk about. It's like the biggest risk ever to them. So I love that you're like, I have to get this right. Okay. And you do. You really do have to get this moment right. This moment will set up the foundation for a whole new relationship with her. It also is very normal for you to hold a space for Taya and come out of that and being like, what a load of fucking shit. Like, I can't believe that she just said all that. This is bullshit. Like, and you have your own triggers and you feel like this is fucking unfair. And, she makes me look like this to Amani or whatever. And you're allowed to have your own experience. You just can't have your own experience with her. So this is where you come into this group and you can vent, like you can go live, you can lose your shit, you can write a big post if you want. It's all okay. It's all welcomed. Here is where we hold a space for you. And over here is where you hold the space that Taya needs. Okay. You and her have a soul contract to break some pretty deep generational cycles. Yeah. And have you watched my video at all by any chance on codependency and enmeshment? I think you did because I sent it to you, right?
I don't know if you sent it to me. If you did, I skipped past, but I watched it in the group the other day.
Oh, you have? Okay. I thought like before I even met you on tour, maybe I sent it, but don't worry. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else that I sent it to privately. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you watch it, did it resonate a fair bit for you?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it would. So you and her are both, it's like you both have a soul contract. You're at a soul level. You guys agreed to come into this life in this arrangement so that you could totally break this cycle on behalf of the family lineage. Okay. Now, what that means is it needs to be acknowledged how brave Taya is being by even being willing, even remotely willing to dip her toe in the water in this space. And the reason I'm saying that to you is because I want you to know that despite how much damage you think you've caused with her, you have something that is strong enough on a soul level, or you've done enough things right despite all the things that you might have done wrong. You've done enough things right for her to still be in a place where she's willing to do this, okay? Where she's even open to the idea of doing this. That's a big deal when you've got a 9-year-old, especially if it's a 9-year-old that has had some poor experiences with you that have been hurtful, okay? Huge. She has a strong spirit and there's a real connection with you guys, okay? At a deep level, she actually does know, in a heart level, she knows she's safe with you, okay? So, like, take the pat on the back for that, babe, okay? In the bits in between that you've really got right, you've got it really right. I really mean this. Okay. Yeah. Really mean this. So, what I want you to do is I want you to say to Taya, at some point, I don't know how Amani's doing it with Taya or how they've agreed, if she's got a day that she has to come to you with this letter, or if she's waiting for her own moment. But I want you to just let her know, hey, Tay, I just want you to know something, darling. I know that you're doing some really brave work with Amani right now. And I know that part of your homework is that you're going to write me a letter that's going to have all of the feelings that are hard for you to feel. And I just want you to know that you are, no matter what you write in that letter, no matter what you say in that letter, you are not going to be in trouble. Okay? It is not going to hurt my feelings. Okay? You have every right to feel the way you feel. and it matters to me, and I want to hear it. Even if it has to hurt my feelings, please. I wish that I had the courage to say some things to my mom that I wished I had have said when I was 9 years old. And maybe if I could have been as brave as you are to tell my mum some truths, maybe it would have changed things between us. Okay? And I didn't do that, so I want this for you, and I just want you to know how brave it is. So whenever you are ready to share this with me, and I'm not going to bug you about it, it's going to be all up to you. But whenever you're ready to read this, or whenever you're ready to give this to me, like I thank you with so much love. I thank you so much for being brave enough to do the work that even I haven't been brave enough to do in my life. And that grandma was never, all of the grandmas, all of the women in our whole entire family have not been brave enough. And you've come into our family to be the one that's braver than all of us. And what you do here, how much truth you speak without worrying about hurting my feelings. This is not about me. This is about you. And it's about you being allowed to have your say and tell your truth. Okay. And when you do this work, it helps all of the women before you. Like, even if she doesn't know what that means, plant that seed in her. Okay. So all she needs to know is you're not going to be in trouble. Okay. It doesn't even matter if it hurts my feelings. Please tell me the truth. Even if it hurts my feelings, I thank you for it. Because when it hurts my feelings, that's not you trying to be mean to me. That's just when something hurts my feelings that you say, that's just how my heart tells me what's right for me and what's wrong for me. It hurts my feelings because I know that what I did or what I said or whatever you've talked about was not aligned with my heart. That's how my internal guidance system lets me know who I need to be. Okay? Now, I want to go a little bit deeper with you here, babe. Are you okay with that? Can we go a little bit deeper? Okay? To help you in this moment. And if it helps you, you can close your eyes for this. If it just kind of helps you go more inward, I want you to do this. I want you to really just pause for a second. I want you to consider. I want you to imagine that this is little 9-year-old you. It's not Taya. This is little Jen that needs to talk to her mum, that needs her mum to know how much her heart hurts sometimes when her mum says mean things to her, or her mum doesn't handle things the right way. And I want you to just imagine that little Jen finds the courage to share with her mum about how she feels. Take your time, and when you're ready, tell me in that moment, what does little Jen need from her mum? In this exact moment, what is it she needs right now? What does she need to hear? What does she need to feel? What does she need to see or have her mum do? Tell me, what does that little girl need?
I think just love and understanding. And
When you say just love, how would that be shown to you? What would your mum need to do or say to make you feel like you were getting love and you were getting understanding?
maybe just let me have feelings.
Mm.
Teach me that they were okay, rather than teaching me that they were so scary. Because all these years later, they're still so scary.
Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in this moment, babe, this isn't even about you needing to be the mother to Taya. This is about you having a moment to like reparent your inner child. So when Taya comes to you with this, I want you to be for her everything that you never got from your mum that you needed. And if it helps, you can even see her. So if you're getting hot right now, this is an energy release. Yeah, you're releasing some good energy right now. This is great. Okay. And when our hearts expand, they provide heat. And that's what's happening for you here. So that's great. So even if it helps for you to look at Taya as she's doing this and see 9-year-old little Jen. Yeah. And hold her hand like she's 9-year-old little Jen. So you can make this a make-believe thing if you need to, just to help give you a little bit of distance from taking it personally, because you're very open about the fact that you know you've got some of those wounds there and you shared that in your comment today. Okay. That this is just a space that you hold. And this whole scenario of Taya bringing this to you, this is not a discussion. Yeah. This is not even an opportunity to talk about anything circumstantial, about what actually happened or what actually got said. This is only a situation where we're not even trying to sort out the problem here. We can sort out the problem next. We can do step 2, and we can have you can come to me and say, hey, here's what she said in her letter. How do I handle that? Or, if she says some things and you feel the need to respond, it's okay for you to say, do you know what? Thank you so much. You have shared so much truth with me, and you're right. Everything you've put in your letter, everything that you've said, you're right about. What she needs to feel is there's nothing wrong with her experiences. She's not going to be questioned. She's not going to be gaslit, even if it's unintentional gaslighting. Like, did I actually say that? Have I ever done that? Like, that's just like, well, it felt to me like you did. It feels to me like you tell me to look after my sister, but you might not have ever said that. But my experience is that I need to look after her. Do you know what I mean? So we're not even getting to the stage of actually problem solving here. You can say, do you know what? This is so amazing, Taya. Thank you so much. This is so important to me. It's important to me that I respond to this the best way that I can. Would it be okay with you if I shared some of this with my coach, even if I don't share any secret parts? You tell me the parts you don't want me to share, because if you're okay with it, I'll go share it with Amani's mum, and I'll ask her the best way that I can reply to this in a way that our hearts get really reconnected again, because there's nothing more that I want than for our hearts to be so connected. And thank you for being the person. You're braver than me. I'm the adult, and even I couldn't do this, Taya. Yeah, just because I'm the adult doesn't mean I know more, doesn't mean I'm more right. You actually are more right than I've ever been right now. Okay, and it doesn't matter that I'm an adult. You're leading me right now. You are the leader right here in our relationship. Yeah, let her have that. Okay, so just remember this whole experience. If it starts to trigger you, literally you can do a pattern interrupt. You can sing the ABCs inside your head or something. It doesn't matter. You can do anything just to be there and just to like detach from it if it starts to trigger you. None of this is about sorting out the circumstances. It's only about a child feeling completely free to have her own experience, whatever that is, even if she's got some embellishments on it or whatever, she's made it up in her head, so different to how it happened. We're only here to validate her experience, not what actually happened. They're two different things. I teach this happy to whole. I teach this at the relationship retreat. This is what causes conflict in relationships, because we never get taught how to do this as children, or we always go back to that didn't happen and this and that, and we don't even know how to meet our partners in their own personal experiences, or how to share our own personal experiences without that coming with filters of what it all means and what was right and what was wrong, and that's not true. And it's like, it feels pointless, because we walk away feeling less heard than we did coming into it. So all this is about, this is how you get this right. The whole point of this is just for Taya to feel heard. It's not for a problem to be solved. It's not for anything to be fixed. It's not for you how to know what to do with. You don't need to know what to do other than thank her, acknowledge how brave this is, let her feel better than you, in terms of, I wish I could have done this. You have such a brave heart, such a strong soul. I'm so glad you're my daughter. Thank you for being my teacher. You are teaching me that it's okay to speak the truth, that it's okay to have a voice, that it's okay to have feelings. Thank you for being the person that I can learn this with. That's all she needs. Okay? And in you meeting her needs in the way that you're like, if this was little 9-year-old Jen, what would I need? You said love, understanding. So that's all you've got to offer here. And as you offer it to her, by default, you are offering that same love and understanding to the part of you that she mirrors, which is the part of you that you get triggered by, which is the part of you that never felt loved, that never felt understood, which is why it needs love and understanding. And she is the mirror, and what you offer to her, you offer to your own inner child. So we get to heal two little girls right here. Yeah.
I can feel how powerful that experience will be for Taya.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Holly.
You're so welcome. The last thing I'm going to say to you is this. After the experience, I want you to almost go to bed tonight and up until she comes to you with this. See it. I want you to visualize. I want you to see Taya coming to you. I want you to literally see how you hold this. I want you to see how fucking proud of yourself you are when this conversation is done. See yourself. You know what I'd love you to do, Jen? If you really want to go deep into this, you can go and pre-write a message that you will copy and paste into this group after it, as though it's already happened. Oh my God, guys, for those of you who watched on Tuesday night, my daughter just came to me with her letter. Wow, it was the most amazing experience. This is how I handled it. Just put you can go back and edit it later. But I want you to literally see yourself already on the other side of this, as though it's already been done, it's already been handled, and it just turned out so perfectly.
Okay.
Okay? You literally can draft that, and when it comes time to actually post it, edit it how you like. It's also very normal that in this moment you can definitely meet her, but then not long afterwards you can go into a bit of a resentment. And this is normal for your inner child. The little girl in you is going to be like, you'll have this feeling. This is the downside of conscious parenting, that in any area of your parenting, for everybody listening, one of the hardest things is that when we meet the needs of our children that were never met for us, there is a part of us that's like, fuck you, why do you get your needs met? I fucking never got mine met. Why didn't my parents ever fucking try to show up and do the work for me? Just validates how much I just wasn't loved. Why do you get to have your anger and have your whatever and it's all just okay? It was never okay for me, right? This is very normal. So for those of you feeling that, you really need to express that. You need to be heard in that. You need to be heard in that. And if you remember, I think I said on every stage around the country, if you came on tour, you can't unneed a need. No human can unneed a need. First topic we talk about at Happy to Whole Retreat, the healing retreat. You can't unneed a need. No one can. If you don't find a way to if your needs aren't met, you will find a way to get them met. And every single one of us are manipulative. Every single one of us. And it's not a bad thing. And one of the biggest manipulations is people pleasing and being kind. Oh, I love your dress. Oh, thank you so much. It's like, no, you probably don't even fucking love the dress. You just say that. Oh, or people that want to go out of their way. Oh, I'll do that for you. Are you sure? It's a long way to do. No, it's fine. I'll do it. This is manipulation. This is what I actually need out of this is I need to feel appreciated. And because I can't ask for that need to be met and life doesn't meet it, I am going to look for things that I can do for people just so they can say thank you so that I can get some appreciation and feel heard. It's still a manipulation. It just comes under the banner of I'm just being kind and I'm just a nice person and I just extend myself for everybody and I'm all of these things. But it's still a manipulation. It's still a behavior that we use to get our own need met. That's all manipulation is. It's not a bad thing. Every fucking person on the planet manipulates. The only person who doesn't manipulate is a person who's willing, firstly, who knows what their needs are and is willing to ask for that need to be met. That's the only person who will never need to manipulate. Okay? So it's perfectly fine, whatever experience you have after this, Jen. And any experience that you have, you need to be heard. Every single one of us have a need to feel heard. And if you don't find a place where you can be heard, you will use your child to try to be heard. And you'll vomit everything and you'll project everything over your child. So in any of these moments with whatever your feelings are, you're allowed to have your experience too, Jen, okay? You're just not with Taya. She's not the person to share that. But that's why you paid to have access to this group. You come to this group, you share your experience. Everybody out there, if you see each other's posts and you have the ability to pause for 30 seconds, and even if you're like, I have no idea what to say, I just want you to just sending you big hugs. You know, I have no idea what to say, just wanted to let you know you're not alone. I feel this all the time too. Thank you for being a voice and for saying what I can't say for myself. Even moments like this, we make a difference to each other's lives. We feel held by the community. You don't need a lot of time to make a difference in someone's life. So if everyone watching, if you have the ability to leave a comment when you happen to see a post, it's not, nothing's ever random. Of all the posts you could have scrolled past or stopped on, there's a reason you read that post. So, you know, maybe you're meant to be a messenger for that person, or maybe that person's a messenger for you. Okay, so come to this group, Jen, and get the support that you need. You're allowed to have needs. Okay, you really are. This is one of the big things, one of the big traumas that you are dealing with, and will take you, but you have to come to Happy to Whole. I know you're thinking about it. I know you want to just like, it's time, babe. It's just, you have to, you're ready for it. It's there. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't something else out there in the world that could help you as well. I just don't know where to send you. I do know what I can do with you in 3 days in my presence, in a room together, without life to deal with, where you are completely immersed in nothing other than your own soul's journey, where you get permission to be selfish for 3 days. You know, nothing else gets your attention. When that level of presence is offered to yourself, that in itself, let alone the work that we do there, the processes that we do, just you gifting yourself the presence of that weekend, that in itself is healing. That's where you feel important and significant to yourself. Okay, so I know you're thinking about it, I know you're trying to get your partner to come or whatever. Don't wait for him to book though. You make your decision, and then, you know, we can always tag him, we can always add him on later on the couples thing or whatever. Don't be holding back on what your soul needs while you're waiting for him. Yeah.
There's one in October, correct?
Yep. October is 24 to 26. Yep. April is 23 to 25. October is 24 to 26.
Okay.
Yep. And just on that note, for anyone listening, Happy to Whole is over half full. And we always, I mean, all of a sudden 4 weeks out, it just books out. Like in the space of, at the last Happy to Whole retreat, we had 18 people booked. And then we got to like 3, maybe 4 weeks out, and within 2 days we went from 18 to 40. 2 days. So don't be waiting. If you feel called, if you're ready to do the deep work on yourself, you really want to show up and you really want to do the healing, make it a priority. Just move the mountains, clear whatever, and yeah, just get there. And if you have to come in October, that's no problem, babe. Okay. May. It's May. Did I say April? Sorry, did I stuff that up? Sorry, I meant to say May. My apologies. Yep, 23rd to 25th of May. Sorry. 25th of May, and then 24th to 26th of October. Sorry, April is the relationship retreat. Okay, which is in a few weeks, but that's already sold out, so no one can come to that. Yep. Thank you, Christabel. Appreciate that. Yep. Yep. Okay, my darling, keep us posted, okay? Let her know. Just say, hey, I know you're doing something with the money, and I just want you to know, so she knows that space is open when you're ready, okay? Like whenever you are ready, I'm ready. You will never be in trouble. I just want to thank you so much for how brave it is, the work that you're doing. So let her know. That leaves the door open for her. And you can even tell her if she needs it. If she's a bit of a, you know, the stronger spirited child, you can say to her, listen, I'm telling you now, you will not be in trouble, okay? And it doesn't matter. In this moment, nothing matters except you and your feelings. Do not worry about my feelings, okay? I will handle my own feelings myself. I've got a coach. You've got a coach. It's all good, okay? And you know what? You even have permission. If I stuff it up, if I break this promise, if at any moment you feel like somehow I'm actually making you feel like I give you permission with respect, without swearing, to say, you said you wouldn't do this, Mum, or you're breaking your promise. Give her a piece of power, like a little sword that she can use to cut you down, with permission. And if you do that, it's on me, babe. Like, I give you permission to call me out, but without swearing, with respect, okay? Without swear words. You're allowed to have feelings. You're allowed to be angry and say, you're breaking your promise or whatever. That's all perfectly fine. Okay. You have permission and you won't even be in trouble for that. Okay. But I know you won't need to use that. You won't even need to say that because I already know I'm looking forward to this moment and I'm here for you. And I'm going to be the person to you. I want to be the mum to you that I never got, that my mum never was to me. And you can start sharing that with her, not in a way where you bag her grandma, but where you say, there are things that grandma, truthfully, grandma wasn't able to do this with me. I want to be the mum who can do this with my daughter. Tell her, you ask grandma. If my mum had to come to you and told you all the things that you were doing that hurt her feelings, like, would you have let her give you a letter? Like, let her. I mean, depending on what, who your mum is and what happens, but just don't let it be a secret to her. Help her understand that the work she's doing is for her, for you and her, but also she's the one that has come into this family for this reason. It's really powerful.
Thank you for all of your time and to help me come up with a plan to move. I really appreciate that, Holly.
You're welcome, darling. I look forward to hearing. You come and use this group, okay? The second this conversation is done, you come and use this group. All right, we got you, babe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just had a couple of messages. Some of you just written to me privately. You know what I'll do? Just asking about Happy to Hold now. So I tell you what I'll do for all of you. At the beginning of next week's call, I'll spend the first 5 minutes just going through what Happy to Hold is about. So if you're like, oh, I kind of like the sound of this, but, is it for me? What do I do? At the beginning of the call, make sure you're on the call on time next week. I'll use the first 5 to 7 minutes just explaining what the retreat is about, who it's for, so I can just kind of answer. Or there's like 4 of you that have just sent me questions. They're great questions. Yeah, I'll post a video that I have on YouTube. I'll post it into the group tomorrow. So that you can watch just a short little, 5-minute video or something. But also next week, I'll spend the first 5 minutes just sharing what we do at Happy to Hold. But it is the deepest work you can ever do on yourself. All right, ever on a healing level. All right, let me go. Tammy, are you here, darling? Let me find you up here. Yep, Tammy.
Oh, hello.
Hello, give me a sec. Hang on. I just went to click on your name and then, yep, there you go. Hang on. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you. Okay. So this child wetting her pants. You said we have your 4-year-old constantly wetting her pants. You thought it was medical, taking her to the doctor, and the doctor says it's behavioral. Yeah. Sometimes she wets her pants at school, but at home it can be 4 to 5 times a day. Or 4 to 5 times in a couple of hours. I firstly want to let you know I have a lot of experience with this. And we're still moving through a process like this with my stepson. He's 9. And he is still having some days multiple accidents, same thing. And, like we can just smell it on him, basically. Yeah. So I'm going to talk to you really from a place of really deep experience. Obviously, our situation is slightly different as well in the way that we can't control what happens over at his mum's house. Are you guys together? Like you guys are all in one house? Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah. So he's only dealing with one household type thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first thing I want to say is this. When the doctor said to you, there's nothing medical, what did they do? What did they look for before they made
Well, they
it?
did a urine test.
Okay.
They've given me a referral to go and do a scan, but I haven't done that yet.
I don't think you need a scan.
There's any point, yeah.
I don't think you need a scan, but there's 2 things that you need to look at. And the doctor, I fucking hate this about doctors. They just when they don't know what the answer is, they just come up with bullshit. Honestly, I guarantee you there is something physical here. I guarantee you. And we'll talk to the emotional stuff in a second. But the very first thing that you need to rule out is worms and parasites. Okay, maybe I would, no matter what, worm him, her, who are we talking about? Her? If you haven't wormed her in a while, worms, because they have their own waste product and then our body's clearing their waste product, will always make a child, especially wet the bed through the night. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's wetting you through the days as well. But, and that it can become a behavioral thing. I'm going to get to that in a second. Okay. I'll talk to you about that in a sec. But worms, and the other thing is, I almost guarantee that she is a mouth breather. Does she breathe through her mouth at night?
I don't know.
No, I've never really looked.
I haven't really taken much
Yeah.
notice.
Oh, hello there.
Yeah.
Can you? I want you to go and check this after the call. I want you to just go into a room a few times. It's very common. Mouth breathers wet the bed. And not just wet the bed, they can't control bladder function, or they have like less of a they have like a desensitizers, like they really don't know when their bladders are full, right?
Well, that's what she kind of says, yeah.
Yeah. And we, like I say, we've been going through this with Zach. Outside of that, okay, so where it can become a behavior problem is when a child is trying to avoid something. And even if there's only been one time where, maybe you didn't even handle it badly, but you're just like, oh, for God's sakes, Taya, not again, just like, come on, get your pants off, step out of him. You're just in that, like, and I get it. Like sometimes Dave changes Zach 5 times on one day on a weekend, right? And he's 9, okay? He has autism, but he's had bowel problems as well. He's seen bowel specialists and stuff as well. But this whole weeing thing has really only happened this year, yeah? Okay. But it's big, okay? And so what happens is they then develop an avoidance and like a shame just with that whole part of their body. And with that part of their body, when they develop a shame to it, we, just like with any emotion that we don't like, we want to numb out to it. And then they numb out to that part of their body and literally create a neural pathway disconnect because they like hate that part of their body, because that part of their body gets them in trouble, makes them stink, makes them get teased, whatever their experiences have been. And it just perpetuates itself because the more that they hate it, the more that they disconnect, and the more they disconnect, the more they numb out, and the more they numb out, the less control they have, right? So I'm not saying you've caused this, but these are just things for you guys to consider. Outside of all of those things, right, and even looking at it from a power point of view, and the only other thing from a behavioral point of view it could be is a child. So the 3 main ways children will get their power back if they're feeling powerless in their life is bedtime, meal times, and toileting. They are the 3. They won't go to bed when you say, they won't eat what you give them, and ultimately you can't control my bodily functions. This is where I have all the power, okay? So if you want to just make sure you're ticking that box, give her as much power as you can without like letting that become some kind of slavery to you, like where, just like things that don't matter, let her have choice. Let her choose what she wants to wear. Even if you don't like what she's chosen to wear, honestly, deal with your own emotions. Like embrace the fact that she's a mismatch today or whatever. Like that's just not an air. Sometimes it's like, no, you can't wear that, or come on, you need to put a jumper on, it's cold outside. It's like, hello, how about I be in control of my body and you be in control of yours? And instead of telling me that I'm going to be cold, let me experience when I'm cold. Like, it's okay. So what you would say is, Taya, hey, you get to choose, it's your body. Like, if you want to raise a child with like a your body, your choice kind of philosophy in life, so that she owns her body and she doesn't let anyone touch or interfere with her body. And like, we can't pick and choose when we want to apply that principle for our own convenience, right? If we want a child to feel like your body, your choice, then it needs to be your body, your choice, right? I'm going to suggest, Taya, sorry, not Taya.
Isabel.
Isabel. So you say, Isabel, we're about to leave, okay? And you're welcome to choose what you like. I'm just going to suggest to you that you bring a jumper, okay? Because when we get outside, it is much colder than inside, okay? Now, you get to choose whether you bring it or not, but the deal is you are responsible for whatever choice you make. If you choose not to bring a jumper and you get cold, you will have to deal with that, okay? There's no whinging or whining or complaining. It's a lesson that you learn, okay? I'm not going to fix it for you, and I'm not going to bring the jumper. I'm suggesting that you bring it, so that you can choose to use it or not. If you want it, you've got it, and if you don't use it, that's fine. But even little things like telling our children that they're cold or that they're warm or anything like that, or come on, take your jumper off, you'll be hot in that. These are all little moments of power we rob them of. Okay. And so we need to be like, I'm taking my jumper, at least if I get cold, like I've got it. If I don't use it, oh, well, are you choosing to bring yours? It's up to you. Do you want to do that? Just anything, like what cup do you want? What spoon do you want? Would you like to brush your teeth before the shower or after the shower? Like, give her something as often as you can, where you can, with things that don't really matter. Okay. It's not like I said, do you want to brush your teeth tonight? You're brushing your teeth. Yeah. Would you like to do it in the shower, or would you like to do it at the basin, for example? Like, if she wants to do it in the shower, let her. Like, it's not a big deal. What matters is that the teeth are brushed. Let her have power over how she brushes, where she brushes, that kind of a thing. Yeah. How would you like to wear your hair today? Would you like me to put it in a ponytail, or would you like it in a plait? You might want her to have it up. Yeah. Anything like that. Okay. So outside of those things, that is all you can do. Outside of that, this is a you journey. And I've had these discussions with my partner, and he's been so grateful, and it does make a big difference. And we actually do find that Zach is often worst on the day that he kind of comes back from his mum. And we know that he also doesn't get fed real healthy things over there, and, all those things. If he does have worms or parasites, those get fed over there with all the nasty things. And so, once he's been at our house, by the third day on a weekend, he's great. He's amazing, So at the end of the day, you can't change it. You cannot control her bodily functions. Maybe she can, maybe she can't. What I'm going to suggest to you is that you guys, outside of trying these things, no matter what, I'd just worm her. Okay, it's not going to hurt her to worm her. Just worm her, worm the whole house. Yeah. Worm again probably in 10 days or whatever it is on the packet, so that you kill the eggs as well. I'd probably just do it. I'm not big on ever using medications and stuff. There's natural ways to do things, but at the same time, everything has its place. And when you've got something as disruptive as all of these, and all these moments where, she probably has numbed out to that part of her body for some reason, and then it starts coming out and she can't stop it. And now she's in fear of you finding out, because she knows, like, they know it's hard work for you. They can feel the energy of how annoying it is to wash 50 pairs of clothes. Like, they're not silly, they feel it.
Yeah,
they hate that they have to inconvenience us. So what I would say is, if you guys, at the end of the day, you can't change it. You actually just can't. The only control you have is how you show up to this, and how safe you choose to allow your child to feel through a very big challenge in her life. And what I do want you to know is, right now she's only 4, and right now it's only wet pants. Okay, I know it's annoying. I see it all the time, but it's only wet pants. But on a principle level, this is laying the foundations for another problem in her life one day, because there will be more, and there will be a problem that is a perpetual problem that she can't change or can't fix, or whatever, is going on for her with that. And this is going to be what her nervous system remembers on how safe you guys are to come to you with that problem and to get help on that problem. And if you let the wet pants be too much of an issue, it's never going to be safe enough for the real issues in life. She's 15, she gets pregnant, and she's so fucking scared to tell you that she doesn't tell you until it's too late to have an abortion or something like that. And that would have been her option, for example, or something, So these are where we set up, because, those moments where, you might be even an adult now, and you're like, why do I do that? Like, or your mum said to you when you're, why didn't you just come and tell, and you're seriously like, I actually don't know. Why didn't I do that? Like, why do I let that become and then why don't I just talk to my husband about that? Like, I know I can when I think about it logically, but I've been holding that in for 3 months. Like, and then he's like, why don't you tell me about that, babe? And you're like, there's always a reason. The answer is because I don't realize, but one day when I was 5 years old, I couldn't talk to a parent, and that is still held in my nervous system. And even though I logically know you are a very safe person to me, my nervous system can't go there. It locks me down. It shuts me down. It doesn't even let me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Her older brother's nearly 11.
Yeah.
And he just makes such a big deal about it all the time.
Okay. So that's
As
another.
soon as she wets her pants, he's running around the house announcing it
Oh, okay.
and making sure everyone knows about it.
Oh, that's good for you
Yeah.
to tell me. So
Yeah.
that needs to stop. Yeah. So and you don't need to like bring him down a peg. You need to go. You talk to him with your heart. And I would probably say, what's your husband's name? Tell me. What's your name?
Glenn.
Oh,
Glenn.
so,
Oh, hello. It would probably be good coming from you. Do you have a pretty good relationship with him? Is he scared of you or anything, or are you? Is he okay for you to talk to him? Does he look up to you?
he's probably more closely aligned with Tammy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if he's not like scared of you, if you can still talk to him, it is really good. What's good about it is the dad that's seen as like, sometimes the big scary man and sometimes like just the leader of the house, the one that puts their foot down. When you come with a bit of a softness to you, it feels like this is like so weird that it makes it important, right? You say, hey, mate, okay, can we have a chat? Listen, I need your help on something. Yeah. We're really going to be working on, like what's happening in the house. And Isabel, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
We really want to help and support Isabel, and we need your help. She really looks up to you. You're like the leader to her. Like she sees you as her hero. And what Mum and I have decided is that as a family, me, you, and Mum, we all need to create an environment where Isabel feels safe and she feels like home is where she's safe, that no matter what happens in this house, if we make mistakes, if we have things that happen to our bodies, if we do things that are embarrassing, that, maybe the world out there will tease you, but at home, you're always going to be safe here. So I need your help. Whenever something happens and she has an accident, what I'd love for you to do is, what I would love for you to say to her is, don't worry, Isabel, I'll go and get Mum and Dad to help. Don't worry. Or say nothing, come and secretly tell us so that as a team, we can all start helping her feel connected to her body again. Because in the moment where she starts to wee and she can't stop it, it's like she disconnects from her body. Yeah. So can you help us out? Could you help be the leader here? So what she needs to hear from her big brother that's like a hero to her is, don't worry. Don't worry. It's just an accident. Yeah, that if he needs to say something, give him, because it's harder to get him to stop the behavior. It's much easier to replace his behavior with giving him another role to play. At the moment, the reason he comes running around and announcing it is because he's playing a role and he's getting some significance out of that, because he gets to be the person to you, like, gets the attention, or, like comes and tells you, like, oh God, thanks for telling me, or oh no, not again. And in that moment, he gets a connection with you guys that she doesn't get. And so it's actually a bit of an underhanded sibling rivalry. It can even be. So let's just give him, instead of we don't want to cut him out of it and remove him from the process, because if it is a sibling rivalry, that'll make him feel like he's getting less of his needs met, and then he'll probably even go harder and he'll just find deceitful, sneaky ways to do it to her. So let's give him, and I really think it'll be really powerful, honestly, coming from his dad, like coming from, hey mate, like I need a problem and I need your help with something. Like, can you be a bit of a leader here? She looks up to you, like she wants to be like you. There's so many parts about her that she thinks you are just the most amazing thing. And her heart, like literally let his heart feel it. So her little heart probably just thinks, what's wrong with me? Why is my brother so good at everything? Why can my brother do all these things? And then I'm the one that, even still wets my pants. Like, it's very embarrassing for her, and it makes her heart feel like she's just not as good as you. And what's really going to help is that she knows that she can just be who she is and you can be who you are, and everyone's amazing in our family. And if she can start to feel like her big brother, who she looks up to, says, don't worry about it, she trusts you so much, she'll believe you. And if you tell her, don't worry, it's just an accident, don't worry, mum won't be angry, dad, I'll go and tell dad for you, don't worry, I'll go and sort it out for you. And then you guys come in, all right, darling, what's happening? Well, do you need to, all right, let's get you changed, it doesn't matter. Okay, I know you don't mean it, I know you didn't mean this, let's just fix it. Okay, at the end of the day, what else can you do? At the end of the day, you have to fix it anyway. So what's being like all angry about it going to do? It's not helping. It's not changing anything. It's not for, the only level of behavior, I'd love to slap your doctor. I hate that they said that to you. They're like, oh, it's behavior. Just, I don't know what to say, so just let it be someone else's problem. I'm like, it's the only level of behavior that this is on is a child who is feeling shame and who is trying to avoid a circumstance, a situation, avoid being in trouble, avoid upsetting my parents, avoid giving my parents, something else to do, avoid my brother knowing about it, avoid being teased by my own family or being an inconvenience to my own family, or, you know what I mean? So I don't want to break your hearts with this, but that's her experience. And outside of that, it's only unmet needs. That's all. We can fix it. But I do when there's uncontrollable bedwetting, it's always linked. It's 99% of the time. Even if it's become behavior as well. It started with something that was uncontrollable for her. And you definitely parasites, worms, and mouth breathing. Mouth breathing will cause bedwetting. If she wakes up with really wet nappies, I know you said she wears nappies at night, and that's fine. Like, let her wear nappies. Is like, it's bad for her to wake up with a wet bed too. That's fine. Just let her know it's no problem. It doesn't matter. Okay, everyone has different needs, and whatever you need, as parents, we meet your needs, and we meet his needs, right? Your brother's needs. So it's okay. This is what you need, and as your parents, this is what we're supposed to do. This is our job. And yeah, it sucks, but it sucks for her. It sucks for her more than it sucks for you. I tell you that much. You guys have to deal with 10 minutes of dealing with some wet pants and all of that, and getting her dressed or changed and wiped up. That shame, that embarrassment, that knowing that she's a hindrance to you guys, that lingers with her for longer than you have to deal with the wet pants.
Yeah.
So it probably just needs a little bit of perspective. And I think even just this conversation will just shift you, and she'll feel it. It won't just be what you say. Even if you're feeling a bit of guilt right now, or far out, I feel bad, like, just let that open your heart. Don't use it to beat yourself up. Okay, you're only doing the best that you know how to do too, and you can't do better unless you know better. And now that you've had this conversation, there'll just be a beautiful shift in your hearts to her. But yeah, give your son a role to play in helping to fix this, and say, do us a favor, because she might feel more comfortable telling you than telling us. So if ever it happens, can you help her feel so safe? And then just come and let us know without her knowing, so that we can go and help her without her. It doesn't have to be a secret that she's wet herself, but, give him, let your son feel significant, so that he still feels like he gets something from you out of this.
Yeah.
He's not going to lose what he's getting. There's a payoff that he's getting for why he's doing what he's doing. And so we're going to let him have access to that payoff, but just in a healthier way.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. The only other thing, for type 1 diabetes, for sure. Does she drink a lot? Does she get really, really, really thirsty?
She does. She drinks a lot of water and a lot of milk.
Okay. Well, if she drinks a lot of water, then you probably should have her checked for type 1 diabetes as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I'm so surprised the doctor didn't do a blood test. But it's like incessant drinking, and particularly in the mornings. It's worth just checking. It's good for Leah.
We went through a period of maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks where her urine was like really odorous, like you could smell it from a couple of meters away.
Oh, you definitely need to get that checked.
Yeah.
You probably should go to a different doctor if you told them that and they didn't do a blood test.
Yeah, it wasn't our regular doctor.
Oh, wasn't it? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so it's probably not a urinary tract infection. It can be when it smells like that. Does it smell? What does it smell like? Does it smell like ammonia by any chance? Does her breath ever smell like acetone? Like nail polish remover? Like in the mornings, especially?
Not that I've noticed.
Not that I've noticed. Is that the waste of parasites? Is it, or?
No, that's a sign of diabetes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the common thing to normally by that stage they're in a bad way and they've got lots of things going on. You're probably, you're probably alerted to some pretty decent medical situations. But Yeah, parasites, nose breathing. Go and check her now, see if she's breathing. Like, and I kid you not, just mouth breathing, because mouth breathing activates the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight response. Constant fight or flight response. And when we're in fight or flight response, you know how, like, if ever you get, you know how we say, oh, I shit myself. Like, if you got a fright, like, oh, you shit yourself. Like, if you get in a fright and your body goes into fight or flight, it's very common to need to go to the toilet, whether it's wee, poo, whatever, diarrhea. Like, when you get nervous, your body wants to get rid of anything it's holding in waste products and also anything it needs to digest. So when the body is in constant fight or flight, it is just constantly thinking it needs to, like, remove what it can to be in that response. And so mouth breathing, anytime you breathe through your mouth, you're in sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight response. Okay. Anytime you breathe through your nose, it activates the vagus nerve up the back of the nose, and that activates parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. And, you know, that's where we're calm and that's where we feel safe. So check that breathing. And if she is a mouth breather, I talked about it last week with somebody on this call, actually. Their child, definitely, I asked the same question, and it wasn't about bedwetting, but some behavioural things.
Yeah.
Go and see an orofacial myologist if you realise she's a big mouth breather. You probably get referred to an orthodontist. Like, there may be things with her soft palate, her hard palate, like literally it all changes. And she's at the best age for you to look into this. Libby's actually on the line, and we had this conversation with her like a year ago, or I don't even know how long, a year, 18 months ago, and her child was going through just a lot of defiance and a lot of, you know, just like running away when they had to get in the car and whatever. And yeah, it just was out of character. It's not his heart. I'm like, there's something going on. And anyway, long story short, he had a huge improvement. He had to literally, you know, wear a plate or whatever and change the shape of the roof of his mouth that literally opens up the, you know, all the nasal passages and the sinuses. It's so often like ENTs will go straight in to do some, you know, kind of throat thing, but so often you just have to change the palate of the mouth and it opens it all up without necessarily having to go into those more invasive surgeries. Sometimes you do need the surgeries too, you know. So anyway, just a few things for you guys to look at. And if your doctor hasn't looked at all of those things, then they cannot say this is not physical unless they've ruled all of those things out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing, guys. Keep me posted, okay? And
Yeah.
in the meantime, yeah, just help her through it, okay?
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
No worries. All right. Claire Morgan. This will be our last question tonight.
G'day, we're here.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
All right. I remember you guys from Melbourne, yeah?
Yep.
I remember. So, thank you for sharing the harsh truth about what's going on behind closed doors for you guys. What makes this hard is this has nothing to do with your daughter, right? You guys already know that. It's what's going on with you. What's going on with you guys? Can you share with me in a nutshell what's creating so much tension between you guys?
I think I think we're both stressed and tired and working a lot and all of that sort of thing.
How old's your baby now? 2 months, 3 months, yeah.
Is 3 months. Is settled down, found something that's helping colic, but still cries a lot, but had cried for like all day, every day.
You're still breastfeeding, yeah?
Yeah, breastfeeding. Yeah.
So I tell you something.
A lot of trouble with that. So yeah.
Trouble with breastfeeding?
Yeah. Okay. Did with my other daughter as well. It's getting there, but so that's.
I just want to say this on colic. Okay, personally, I don't believe in colic only because I've always been able to fix these colicky babies. Like, babies is like my real gift. I'm better with babies than I am with children. I wish the whole world could just keep having babies and I can teach how to get them to sleep and feed and whatever. But I'll tell you something about colic. And it's like understanding, you know, like a very underdeveloped, you know, like digestive system and things like that, right? While they're new and they're still developing. It is so highly linked. You know how colic happens mostly in the evenings, like it gets worse through the day, and like typically colicky babies are like babies that scream, pretty much from like 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. or beyond that, right? Is that pretty much what's happening for you guys?
He would do more than that. And we had we think he, despite burping him and all of that, his latch has never been great. Someone asked about tongue ties. Yes, he was assessed for tongue ties and all of that. That was not a problem. But it just at his 6-week appointment, I said, well, it is 4-week and 6-week appointment. I said he cries a lot. They said, yeah, there are high crying babies, At his 8-week appointment, the maternal child health nurse was looking at this baby crying, and she said, yeah, he's not an easy baby,
How do they think babies cry for no reason? So a couple of things. Colic is very highly linked to a fast letdown of the mother, hugely linked. And so even especially if he's not latching properly, that even makes it harder. I would suggest, first of all, you feed him laying down every time. Like you lay on your side, it slows the flow so that he doesn't have to get drowned by your letdown. Yeah. That's number one. Number two, yeah, lots of burping. Like you literally have to take him off every 3 minutes until he burps, and it's annoying because it makes the feeds take longer, but it stops wind bubbles literally getting stuck all the way through his whole digestive system throughout the day, and it gets pushed down to the point where it can't come up this way, and then the only way for it to come out is like eventually it comes out the other end. But in the meantime, it's like 6 p.m. and it's bedtime or it's feed time, and then they get to the point where they're in too much pain to feed. They're too hungry to sleep, but they're in too much pain to feed, and they need to, they're hungry, but they can't feed. So laying on your side to feed, like maximum 3 minutes, like being able to drink. And that's annoying because then what happens is you take them off and they scream because they're hungry, and you're like, but actually the pressure of them screaming helps get the burps out a lot faster. And then they go back on and off. And yeah, it takes like 2 weeks. It takes twice as long to be able to get them through a feed. Yeah.
I don't know if I have seen lactation consultants. In my case, I probably have low supply rather than a lot extra milk.
But do you still have a fast letdown? Because the letdown is not about how much milk you have. This is where people.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I do feed him on my side sometimes, like when I get well, if it's at night or during my other daughter's child's nap time. Yeah, burping him.
And when you burp, do you do more rubbing and you bring the pressure upwards when you burp without as much padding? It's like real, backwards, like a backwards C on his chest, or on the back, on his back.
Yeah. My husband's very good at that.
Oh, good.
But yeah, we could do that more during the day. It does take a long time to feed him anyway, but that's just it is. It's just
and even like laying him on like flat on his stomach on your forearm and burping him that way, and more rubs than pats for sure. That all of those little things, because and just don't get confused with letdown with milk supply. Like even if you've only got a little bit of milk, if the valve opens and it's just boom, here's the milk, if there's a fast letdown, it literally takes one little flow that's too much, and then it kind of gets piled up on all day. But the other thing is, can I ask a personal question?
Yeah.
Without any judgment whatsoever, like zero judgment here. Is he vaccinated? Do you vaccinate?
No, actually we haven't done that. We've held off on that this time round.
Yeah, cool. Because a lot of this like crying at these ages where the nurses and staff are like, oh, it's just a crying baby, is literally babies with, some inflamed brains and things from their bodies not coping with And sometimes it really helps, even if you still choose to vaccinate, to spread the vaccinations out and not give them so much at once. But that's not a problem for you. So that's good. But the only other thing that I really want to suggest to you that I've used with my own children and swear by it, I tell the world about it, I sing it from the rooftops. Have you taken him to a chiro? Do you believe in chiros? Would you be open to seeing a chiropractor?
I would be. I mentioned that to Jeremy, probably around his 6 week, when he was about 6 weeks old. And I said, mightn't be a bad idea, but I didn't follow through. So yeah.
Phenomenal. There's such that's phenomenal. I can't explain. By the time I had my third baby, mine was C-sections, I organized my chiro to come in and give her adjustments at 3 hours old. And he did some cranial work on her that helped her body kind of emulate that she'd been through the birth canal, because only when they go through the birth canal does their body release certain hormones that helps clear their lungs and all these kind of things. And so I shut my hospital door and told the nurses to stay the freaking hell out because I didn't want to hear their opinions, and I got my chiro to come in, and we literally, like, you grab them by their hips and just slowly literally hang them upside down. It's, you wait and you see what happens. Like, let the chiro show you how to do it, but then you'll do it at home by yourself. You grab them by the hips, pull them upside down, and to begin with, like, if they're not in alignment, so especially if they've been natural delivery, stuck in the birth canal, forceps, ventouse, anything like that, he's probably got a really banged up neck, right?
Yeah.
And that stops them from sleeping, and then they're too tired to feed and, you know, too hungry to sleep and all of these things. But you literally, I've got a video of our babies, like, would hang them upside down, and, like, to begin with, they pull to one side, like whatever side is caught or like hurting, and just the weight of their own body, they pull to one side. I kid you not, within 20 seconds, you see these babies, they just go like this. They're like hanging upside down like a little scun rat, like just like literally like a rabbit, and they're just like, the weight of their spine just elongates them. They move like their own movement, their own body weight from their hips. And then as they get older, you do it from their knees when their connective tissue gets stronger, like at 1 year old and everything. And then you end up hanging them. You can hang them, but, you know, by their ankles. You have got to hold them in a certain way that doesn't obviously put too much pressure on the joints until they get to the point where they can do manual adjustments. Incredible. I have used chiros my kids' whole lives. At the first sign of a temperature, of anything happening, I don't discount doctors, right? Everything has its place. But I believe the intelligence that created the body heals the body. And if we can just, all the chiro does from a physiological point of view is they don't fix you. Your body fixes itself when there's no interference. So if there's any interference in any of the neural pathways because there's something out of alignment because of, you know, whatever, the way we hold them, all the things, then their body can't speak to itself properly. But if we remove any interference in their nervous system, the body speaks to itself. It sends signals to organs send signals back to the brain. It heals itself. I'd go to my doctor when my kids were young. I'd be like, oh, yeah, she's getting a temp. Like, just, you know, even back then, I used to give antibiotics before I knew better. And so I would, like, give me a script, but I'm not going to fill it unless I need to, but I'd have it on hand so I didn't have to deal with it over a weekend or something. I would take my babies to the chiro instantly, give their body time to adjust itself, and I kid you not, 95% of the time, my kids have barely been to doctors. They've barely ever had Panadols. Their body heals itself in hours if you help their body talk to itself.
Yeah, I think, look, I'm going to do that. You mentioned being stuck. He wasn't exactly stuck, but after he was born, my doctor said, this is a subsequent baby, and he said normally we would expect the last part of labor to be 5 minutes to an hour. The last bit, he said 2 things happened that make me think Bub was in a really funny spot. He said it took 3 hours in your case, that last bit, for him to get himself out. And without being too graphic, I needed stitches, but in a different spot to normal. And he said, so I think baby was wasn't where he needed to be. And it took him 3 hours to get where he needed to be to get out. So
we totally discount,
you know,
I think we discount how traumatic, I know it's natural, but how traumatic the birth process is for a baby, you know, and they go through a lot, yeah. And then, you know, we live in this, you know, Western society and whatever, and we do things differently, and we get them, and then we wrap them, and they don't get the movement that they would naturally probably go into. And I'm all for wrapping, by the way, but I'm just telling you, a chiro will be your best bet to cure colic. There's a chance that it'll cure colic in a week. Like, I kid you not, if that is coming from, you know, the nerves that serve the stomach, or, you know, even the gallbladder, you know, anything like that, like, just please go see a chiro like tomorrow. Because I feel like this tension at home between you two is having this effect on your daughter. But it's all coming from being, like you say, from what you said, just exhausted parents that aren't getting enough sleep, that have all the pressure, that just need a break. You guys just need to remember, you're on the same team. It's you two versus the problem, not me versus you, me with my problem versus you with your problem. We versus the problem. We're on the same team. This is our problem. We're not communicating. We're getting upset. We're getting triggered. We're not, whatever the deal is. This is the problem. And it's both of us together as a team against the problem, not you versus me. Even just bringing that into your relationship, that filter, that idea, and offering each other a bit of nurturing. If I give you some homework, would you be willing to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the homework I want you to do, because often this is all it is that creates all the niggles. There's no one big massive thing. It's just all these niggling little arguments and these niggles at each other, and, you know, your nervous systems just never get to come down. I want you guys, I'd say normally every night, but whatever, you know, at the end of every day, whatever time that is, your homework is, you need to tell each other, this literally takes 2 minutes, kid you not, like actual 120 seconds. It doesn't have to go for long. You have to tell each other 3 things I got right today. Okay, so for example, you tell me 3 things I got right. I tell you 3 things you got right today. And these could be tiny. It could be like, you know what, I loved how when you walked past me in the kitchen tonight, and as you walk past, you just run your hand across my back. It was a 1 second thing. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you went to the shops for me. Oh, you like got up for me in the night. It doesn't have to be massive. You're just both feeling unseen. You're both feeling like no matter what you're doing, it's not enough. And you're both probably getting to the point where now you're training your brains to see what each other gets wrong, not what each other gets right. But you are still getting things right. It's just not acknowledged. And the things that you're getting wrong are being acknowledged more often than the things you get right. Chances are that's not being acknowledged at all. So it's 3 things you get right and 1 thing I could have improved today. Not 1 thing I got wrong today, 1 thing I could have improved. There'll be, and you have to find something so that you can gently offer each other feedback when it's necessary. So there'll be a day where you're like, you know, Dave and I, we still to this day, we've been doing this 6 years in our relationship. And you know, sometimes I'll be like you did, like, there's nothing I can say you got wrong, but it's not what you got wrong. It's what could I have done better today? If I could have improved something, what could it have been? So like, I'll say to him something like, oh, you know, I don't know, like, you left the house, you're gone for like a few hours today, and I don't know, maybe while you were out, you could have just sent me a text and said, love you. You could have just sent me an emoji. Like, I don't really need it, by the way. Like, I'm not like, why didn't you message me? But, you know, if there's something you could have improved, I mean, words of affirmation are my love language. I love getting a little emoji. I just love knowing you think of me when you're not home, you know, just like if you're gone for more than 4 hours, just send me a little love heart or something. I don't know. I don't care that you didn't, but you force yourself to have to find something so that you're creating a space for some feedback. On the days where there is some feedback to give each other, you don't have to open that space. The hardest thing is saying, can we have a chat? Hey, can we talk about something? Then the other partner's like, oh, for fuck's sakes, what's this about? What do you got now? Whatever. We just get in these bad ways before we even know what it is, right? And so what happens is we don't even speak up about that. We just, that one little thing that could have been the easiest thing to speak and release is held for days. And then 3 days later, there's another little thing. And then 3 days later, it's another little thing. And then all of a sudden, we literally look for an argument subconsciously as a way to just let out what we need to let out, because there's no space for it. And it's too risky to cause an argument to ask for the space. So you need to have a space that is created. Every day we show up, we say, what are 3 things I got right? And for you to answer that You have to notice 3 things about me today. So it starts to wire your brain for like, shit, I better look for something she's getting right now. I better look for something he's getting right now. Because we're going to do this conversation in an hour and I haven't even noticed anything about you today. And you've got to find something. Give me 3 things I got right. And it could be not even to do with you. It could be, I saw you playing with our daughter and I noticed this sweet little moment where you did that. I just love watching you be a mum. I just love watching you be a dad. I just think you got that so right. You just handled her so well today. Look at the smile on your face. Would you guys be willing to do that?
Yeah.
Start there. Start there. Okay? It will just remind you that you're on the same team.
Yep.
And go and get this colic sorted.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the doctors when they say, oh, it's just a crying baby. Babies don't cry for no reason. They're trying to communicate. Something's happening. They're in pain. Like, how disrespectful of us to go, oh, it just cries. Like, what if it's in pain and we don't even consider that because we're like, oh, just because I deal with 1,000 babies a day, like, who cares that it cries? Yeah? So be strong. Please go see your chiro. Please, please.
Yeah, will do. Yeah. Thank
You
you.
could probably do with it. You guys, all of you, even your daughter, all should go. It helps you emotionally as well. Okay? Who even cares what the money is? Honestly, like, it's causing upset in your house. And if you've got health insurance, obviously it gets covered and whatever. But please, just at least get him in. But I would love to see you all go see a chiro just to bring. Chiros deal with nervous systems. That is what they have their PhDs in. Okay? And all they're doing is removing interference so that your body can heal itself.
Good. Yeah, thank you.
All right? Tell your chiro I need a commission on that.
He's going to do well.
Guys, awesome. All right, well, let me know how that goes. Just let us take the pressure off because there's nothing to do with your daughter, honestly. As soon as you guys, the only thing that I see in all of that, which you guys already see yourselves, is she's starting to feel responsible to find ways to not get you guys to fight. And that's not good for her. And you guys know that. So we don't even need to talk about it. When you guys sort yourselves out, this will all sort out. Your problem, I believe, is that you're not feeling seen at all in all the efforts you're both making. You're both feeling very unseen. And you both need to start acknowledging each other for the efforts. You both need to say things to each other like, I can see you're struggling right now, or geez, this has been a hard day for you. And, think like just validate each other's pain. Okay. It really helps relieve stress when you feel like, I can see you're exhausted, babe. I can see how much you don't want to do this. Just validate that. It's like, yeah, thanks for you can't fix my problem, but at least I know I'm not alone in my problem. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, people, I will see you all next week. Replay will go up tomorrow, and I'll be back here next week, and I'll use the first 5 minutes, 7 minutes to be able to share Happy to Hold for those of you that were asking tonight. Okay?